joy, and already, he says, I give you my body, as you have need of it. The young man asked, What price do I give you? Sadaprarudita answered, Give me whatever you do. Sadaprarudita took a sharp sword, pierced his right arm, and made the blood flow. He pierced his right thigh, cut the flesh from this, and strode up to the foot of a wall in order to break the bone. A merchant's daughter, from her upper window, sees this, and she thought to herself, Why does this son of good family do this to himself? Let me go to him, and ask him. She goes to Sadaprarudita, and said, Why do you inflict such fatal treatment on yourself? What do you do with this blood, and with this marrow of your bones? Sadaprarudita said, As I have sold them to this young man, I go to worship perfection of wisdom, and to do honor to the holy Bodhisattva Dharmodgata. The merchant's daughter said, What is the kind of quality, what is the excellence of the qualities, which you create in yourself by your wish to honor the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata as you sell your own heart, blood and marrow? Sadaprarudita replied, Dharmodgata now explains to me perfection of wisdom and the skill in means. In these I train myself, and, as a result, I become a refuge to all beings, and, as I at this point realize full enlightenment, I acquire a body of golden color, 32 marks of the Tathagata, 80 accessory marks, the splendor of a halo the rays of which extend throughout infinitude, great friendliness, great compassion, great sympathetic joy, great impartiality, 4 grounds of self-confidence, 4 analytical knowledges, 18 special dharmas of a Buddha, and I acquire 5 superknowledges, an unthinkable purity of conduct, an unthinkable purity of concentration, an unthinkable purity of wisdom, and 10 powers of a Tathagata. I fully awake to the supreme cognition of a Buddha, and acquire the supremely precious jewel of Dharma, which I share with all beings. The merchant's daughter replied, It is wonderful, son of good family, how exalted and sublime are these dharmas which you proclaim. For the sake of even one of these dharmas should one be willing to renounce one's bodies even for countless eons, how much more so for the sake of many of these. These dharmas which you proclaim please me also, and seem good to me. But see, son of good family, I give you whatever you require, and with this you may honor the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata. But do not inflict such treatment on yourself. I also go with you to the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata. I also, together with you, plant wholesome roots, which help to realize such dharmas. Sakra, chief of gods, now throws off his disguise as a young man, and in his own proper body he stood before the Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita, and says to him, I applaud your firm sense of obligation. In these 3 times Tathagatas have so great an aspiration for Dharma, and it is this which helps these to full enlightenment and to gain the precious jewel of Dharma, as these first course in the vehicle of a Bodhisattva, and ask questions about perfection of wisdom and skill in means. I have no need for your heart, blood or marrow. I only come here to test you. Now, choose a boon. I give you any boon whatsoever. Sadaprarudita answered, Give me supreme dharmas of a Buddha. Sakra, chief of gods, replied, This lies not within my province. This lies within the province of Buddhas, the lords. Choose another boon. Sadaprarudita replied, Do not trouble your mind about the mutilated condition of my body. I now make it whole again by the magical power of enunciation of truth. As I am in truth irreversible, and predicted to full enlightenment, and am known to the Tathagatas by my unconquerable resolution, may through this truth, through this utterance of the truth, this my body be again as it is before. This very moment, instant and second, through the Bodhisattva's might and through the perfect purity of the Bodhisattva's resolution, the body of the Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita became as before, healthy and whole. And Sakra, chief of gods, and Mara, the evil one, reduced to silence, just vanished from this place. The merchant's daughter then said to Sadaprarudita, Come on, son of good family, let us go up to my house. I ask my parents to give you riches with which you can express your desire to worship this perfection of wisdom, and to honor the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata, a desire which is due to your love for Dharma. The Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita and the merchant's daughter go together to her house. Upon arriving, Sadaprarudita remains standing on the threshold, while the merchant's daughter goes into the house, and now she says to her parents, "Mummy and Daddy, give me a part of your wealth. I go away with the 500 maidens you gave me for servants." Together with Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita, I go to the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata in order to worship him. And he demonstrates Dharma to us, and in this way we acquire the dharmas of a Buddha. Her parents replied, "Who is this Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita, and is he here just now?" The merchant's daughter said, "This son of good family stands at the threshold of the door to our house. He set out determined to know full enlightenment, in other words, he aspires to set all beings free from immeasurable sufferings of birth and death." She told her parents all she saw and heard, how Sadaprarudita sold his body, and mutilated it, and how, as she asked him for a reason, he praises and reveals to her unthinkable qualities of a Buddha and immeasurable dharmas of a Buddha, which he has in mind as his goal. She goes on to say, "As I hear of unthinkable qualities of a Buddha, I feel exceeding joy and elation. I think to myself, it is wonderful to such extent as this son of good family is a doer of what is hard, and how much he loves the Dharma to endure oppression and pain in this body. It is due to this love for Dharma he renounces himself. How can we fail to worship Dharma, and to make a vow to reach such stations, we who have vast and abundant possessions?" So I said to this son of good family, "Do not inflict such fatal treatment on yourself. I give you abounding riches, which you may use to worship and honor the holy Bodhisattva Dharmodgata. I also go with you to this Bodhisattva, as I can worship him, too. I also accomplish these supreme dharmas of a Buddha which you proclaim. Mummy and Daddy, allow me to go, and give me the riches I ask for." Her parents replied, "It is wonderful how well you relate the hardships of this son of good family. Unthinkable, for sure are the dharmas for the sake of which he endures these hardships. These must be the most distinguished in the whole world, a source of happiness to all beings. We give you our possessions to go. We also like to come with you, to see, to salute, to honor, to worship the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata." The daughter replied, "Do as you say. I do not oppose any who in truth do right." The meeting with Dharmodgata. Thus this merchant's daughter set out to worship and honor the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata. She takes 500 carriages and orders her 500 servant girls to get ready. She takes abundant riches and ample provisions, mounts upon one carriage together with the Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita, and proceeds east, surrounded by the 500 maidens on their 500 carts, accompanied by a huge retinue, and preceded by her parents. After some time the Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita sees the city of Gandhavati from afar. In the middle of the marketplace he sees the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata on his pulpit, demonstrating Dharma, surrounded and revered by an assembly of many hundreds, of many thousands, of many hundreds of thousands. The moment he sees him he is filled with that kind of happiness, which a monk feels as with one pointed attention he obtains the first trance.